Hi, welcome to the GF channel. In today's episode I'm going to show you how to drain your fuel tank, how to fuel, because you may want to change your fuel pump, let's say, or you're selling the car, which was the case with me when I was selling my 323 BA. So I'm going to show you actually two ways to do that. One is older Mazda specific way, which have this diagnostics plug right here. And the other one is a little bit more general, which might even work for other brands. I'm not an expert, I cannot say, but for sure works on modern Mazda vehicles. So before you actually start, what you need to do is disconnect your battery. Now I have this little nifty thing here that disconnects my battery. Go and turn the ignition switch to on here. You cannot see it's in ignition because I have turned off the battery. Then you have to locate your fuel rail. You can see this right here is my fuel rail. Now my fuel rail on the 626 is a little bit different from the rest because I actually use a rail from 323 with a damper right here. That's a damper, fuel pulsation damper. I have another video for that when I was switching the whole intake manifold. So you have to locate it, and in this case this is not a returnless system. Some cars may have a returnless, so only one fuel line will come to here, others will not. For this car, if you look here, that's right there is your fuel filter. I cannot show you from this cruise control. That's a Mazda 6 cruise control. I have another video for that. But that pipe right there that goes up, that's the pipe you need to disconnect for the 626. Disconnect it from here, plug it inside of something to store your fuel in. With that, you're done with preparations. Now let me show you some documentation about the first method. Okay, so this is a diagram of the how the fuel pump works. Now on the 626 it's called circuit relay for some reason, not a fuel pump relay, on the facelifted anyhow. And you can actually see there is a coil, and then the coil closes the circuit. And this coil is being controlled by, it has a constant 12 volts from the main relay, and it's being controlled by the PCM. But also there is another way to control it by this data link connector, which I showed you right there. All this is actually shown, even written in the documentation, in the manual, not in the wiring diagrams, but I'm showing the wiring diagrams because I always show you a little bit more detailed information. So since on this side of the coil you have 12 volts, you need to pass here ground, and this is going to close this circuit, which is going to, in order, turn this fuel pump relay unit in this case. So if we go here on this 56 section U1, let me see, I believe it was this one, yes. You can see here on the bottom it's 56. Let me see if it's focused. This thing actually goes like that, and it goes into this pin. And there is an empty pin here, and then there is a pin which goes to ground. Which means, in simple words, in all older Mazda vehicles, they did not change the pin out for this, as far as I am aware. You need a jumper cable only, and connect it between this pin and this pin. And then when you turn the ignition on, in our case, that's why I told you remove your battery, because it's going to be hard to actually, when you see it's filling up, to go run and close and everything, just stop it from here, start and stop from here, leave it on ignition there. So in other words, in action, let's see it in action, because that's all it matters. That's my jumper cable. I'm going to place it on this pin right here. Come on, okay. and on this pin here. Actually, before I place it, let me show you that it's not doing anything. This is it, and as you can see, no fuel coming out. Okay. Now, I will place the jumper in. So these are the two wires. And now, you can even hear it going. The fuel. Okay, so turn it off. So this is on older Mazda vehicles. This actually even works on a Mazda 6 GG, for which I have documentation. And on this documentation you can see it actually has the same thing. This is again the fuel pump relay. Again, from the PCM it's being controlled, but again you have in section U this check connector. And if we go there to see the 24 on the check connector, it's right here, 24 check connector. It goes in this place right here, and then there is ground coming on the opposite diagonally. So a jumper wire between those two is going to still activate the fuel pump relay on a Mazda 6 GG. And where to find this connector, if I scroll down, you can see here that is the fuse block. So they integrated it within the fuse box. And at the upper corner you see this check connector U2. That's where you actually need to connect those two wires, those two pins, to activate the relay on a GG. I assume it won't be any different on any other first gen 3, 2, 5, I don't know. But I might be mistaken. I don't have them, I cannot check them. So, how else could you approach this? There is another approach which should work on every vehicle in theory. Let's go with the 626. Not the data link. Let me check. Yes, this one. So the other way is not to use the relay at all. Directly jump those two as if the relay closed them, and this is going to activate the fuel pump. So in order to do that, you need to find your fuel pump relay, and you need a multimeter right there to figure out which is the coil and which is the opened circuit right here. So on the 626, since we are working on a 626, the pre-facelift and the facelift have different locations for the fuel pump relay. So on the facelift, okay, let's go with the pre-facelift. On the pre-facelift, it's somewhere beneath the cover of the PCM, which is in the feet of the passenger seat. It's very hard to get, apparently, so they moved it. They moved it on the facelift, and now resides here in the fuse box. So let's go and open it. Fuse box, remove it. Now if you check here, there's the circuit right here. It says circuit. That's the fuel pump relay. Now if I remove it, even though the jumper is on there, if I start the electricity, nothing is going out because, well, I'm jumping here, but there is no relay to be activated. So this is still going to be needed. We are going to place it either here or here. Of course, I know where, but you need to grab a multimeter, and because I'm shooting with one hand, I'm going to use this alligator clip to hold for me one pin. You need to go with all the pins until you put the multimeter not on continuity but on resistance. Grab the other one. So this one and this one, you can see they are not connected to this one, while the third one, there is a resistance to it, which means the coil is between those two, and between those two you have the line that needs to be closed. In other words, we need a jumper between those two. So we move this cable that I have here, we move it to those two, here and here. We're hoping it's making a good contact. So we make it like that, and now it's not making a good contact. Probably you can hear starting and come on. Fuel is going and stop because this is not making a good contact. And you can hear actually the fans turn on, because I don't know for what reason Mazda decided that when you remove your battery and then back on again, it's going to go with air conditioning on. Not only blower, but even air con is on. Okay, so that's how you actually do it the other way around, which should work even on modern Mazda vehicles. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe. I'll be posting more videos soon. Bye bye.